Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Colette Ambo. Coming up, the HIV response unit targets men for HIV testing. Government donates 3 computers to the Campbell Resource Center, and the Dominica State College Registrar reports on a disaster risk reduction forum. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories after this.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Let's have some fun, eh?
I'm not ready for your kind of fun yet.
But everybody else is doing it.
But I'm not everybody else. I'm me, and I want to do well in school.
Well, you definitely get an A for attitude.
I plan to get an A in life, and then I'll think of your kind of fun.
So what am I to do in the meantime?
You'll survive.
Say no when you're not ready. Use condoms when you are.
Thanks for staying with us. The HIV response unit is making a special appeal to men to get tested. At the unit's outreach activity in Salisbury on World AIDS Day this week, the National AIDS Coordinator, Nurse Julie Frampton, reported that local statistics show a greater need for men to be aware of their HIV status.
In terms of male to female ratio, we have more men testing positive. 70% of all our HIV are male. Hence, if you notice, my t-shirt says men get on board. We want the men to get tested. We want men to know their status. We always see women getting tested. Women have better health-seeking behaviors. So you always see them in the health centers. You always see them coming to get a test. So this year we've been promoting campaigns for men. So we've been encouraging men to get tested. In terms of the age group most affected, we see our 25 to 49 is the age group most affected. However, for the last 2 years, we've seen the older population testing positive. So we want to encourage older people to get tested, and even if you have a partner that's younger than you, ensure that you get tested and that partner gets tested.
The HIV response unit offers several services to the public to tackle the AIDS virus. Some of these include testing and counseling, prevention education programs, mother-to-child transmission programs, supplemental feeding programs, treatment and care programs, monitoring and evaluation programs, and a food bank. World AIDS Day was observed on December 1st. The unit will continue its outreach activities on Friday in Point Michelle. The 2014 Atlantic hurricane season officially ended on November 30th. It was a relatively quiet season and has been described as uneventful for the Caribbean region. It was predicted that during the 2014 hurricane season, there could be about 12 named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes of categories 3, 4, or 5. The actual number at the end of the official season were 8 named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. While there were no direct hits to any Caribbean country, the islands of Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Anguilla were affected by Hurricane Gonzalo, while the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Bermuda, and other islands in the Lesser Antilles were affected by the season's hurricanes. The effects of the 2014 hurricane season in North America and the Caribbean resulted in 17 fatalities and damage totaling about $232 million. During the season, the Caribbean was also affected by intense precipitation due to trough systems and tropical waves. In Dominica, the accumulative rainfall on the east coast was over 1,200 millimeters, and the West Coast over 1,000 millimeters, with August and November being the wettest months. Thanks to the generosity of the Japanese government, the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities headquarters will soon be able to provide its members who live in the outer districts with overnight accommodations.
Work is now progressing on our extension. The building is being expanded thanks through the generosity of the Japanese government, and we are doing that. We will be having dormitories, so we'll be able to offer programs, evening times, night times, so that people who travel from out of town and far away won't have difficulty in getting accommodation when they have to stay over to attend activities. So it is our plan to extend and increase the activities that we undertake and conduct for people with disabilities, and we are just looking for their continued support as well as the continued support of the general public.
Dominica's government and the International Telecommunications Union has partnered to make a meaningful contribution of 3 computers to the Campbell Resource Center. In an official handing over ceremony on Thursday, the Honorable Parliamentary Representative for the Maho constituency and Minister for Public Works, Energy and Ports, Rayburn Blackmore, made the presentation.
We recognize Campbell is a little distant from Rosal. And what I try to do as a member of parliament is to see the areas that are more deserving or most deserving. When I was approached, and of course I've been speaking to Mr. Bennett, and of course I want to commend you for your support. And incidentally, Mr. Bennett is from Massac, and Mr. S. Kenneth is from Maho, and Honorable George lives in Belfast. So you can see we're committed fully to the constituency, my dear friends. And I thought about it, and I thought about areas like Tarragona, etc. And we decided to start in Campbell. We'll be moving just now into one other areas once the computers are available. And I want to say thank you very much again, Mr. Bennett, for the manner in which you responded and have been working with me over the past few months. I feel very, very, very honored to be here this morning, and I'm particularly pleased that this thing is taking place here this morning, because I know my good friend Wendy has been always talking to me about that. And of course, we shall be ensuring, apart from having the computers to assist you to do your assignments or your studies, etc., is to have after school lessons. And of course, so persons can come there, and of course, and to learn how to do the homework, etc., and other things. And we shall be engaging persons to engage you after your school hours, so that you can do something positive with your time. So today's a historic day for us in Campbell, and I give the commitment as your humble servant to work for you every day, and every week, and every month, and every year, to improve your lives.
Honorable Blackmore also indicated plans to use the resource center as a centralized location for doing ICT services. He added that as a result, constituents must take up a level of ownership to ensure the safety and the security of items within that building. The Honorable Ambrose George, Telecommunications Minister, says the contribution is significant.
We came to the conclusion that Campbell, Puget Savan, and Casbros were to be the beneficiaries for those computers. The number may seem small, but 3 computers, in my mind, in a community like Campbell, certainly can go a very long way in terms of providing the kind of services that the people of Campbell require. Certainly for the students, they're going to be some very important tools and very important assets to them, where they can go on the net and assist them in the studies, in doing research, and really using the technology that is available to them in their learning and to improve on their education. I see, of course, you have a student, and I'm sure there are many other students from the secondary schools and the college who also will find it necessary to utilize the resource here and to ensure that they can improve on their own education.
He added that it is also in keeping with efforts to stay abreast with the advancement of technology.
ICT, information communications technology, is something which is evolving. The technology is quickly changing. You see a gadget today, and next month it's improved, even with the cell phones and the iPads and other gadgets that we use within the technology world. And therefore, Dominica is not backward in that respect. In other words, we have to keep up with the technology. And by keeping up with the technology, we have to make the technology available to all people. We need to empower people and to ensure that we are not left behind as far as the technology is concerned. We would hope that those free computers being placed here at this resource center will go a long way in facilitating the students, facilitating the members or the residents of Campbell.
This was the first of 4 donations to be made in the coming weeks. Cleopatra Cuffey, a member of the Queen Show Committee, is calling on the corporate community to sponsor the young ladies taking part in the 2015 Miss Dominica pageant. On Wednesday, the Fort Young Hotel officially sashed contestant number 7, Kelsey Wrighton, with full sponsorship. Cuffey hopes that more corporate partners will come on board.
Carnival is undoubtedly one of the most festive seasons in the Dominica calendar of events. One of the hallmarks of that season is the Carnival Queen Show. Many people look forward to the opportunity to see the Dominican beauties display their talent, poise, and intellect. But for this event to be successful every year, a number of crucial ingredients must be present. This list includes contestants, the Queen Show Committee, the audience, and the sponsors. Very important. Every year, the contestants step forward to represent us, first at the local level, and hopefully further afield when they place in the competition. Like a trapeze artist puts his faith in members of his team not to let him fall, so too the participants in this pageant are depending on the sponsors to come forward with the required support. Do not think of this as giving your money away, but rather as starting a relationship and investing in a young person for your mutual benefit. Let her be the face of your business, and also let her be the wind beneath your wings.
Dominica has participated in a 2-day forum on disaster risk reduction in Bogota, Colombia. Representing the country at the 2nd Regional Forum on Disaster Risk Reduction in Higher Education for Latin America and the Caribbean was Registrar at the Dominica State College, Denise Edwards.
The forum looked at the role that institutions of learning can play in disaster risk management, bearing in mind that disaster affects everybody. Most of the discussion was about research that had been done in the different institutions about risk management in disaster, because disasters are inevitable and how you manage the risk, how you reduce the risk is important. We also looked at the role that even the students can play as volunteers in the risk management, whereas the discussion appeared to have been mainly for university level, because the research, most of them would take 4 years. I think that Dominica State College, it was a sort of a wake-up call to us as to what are we doing as a college in disaster risk management.
Edwards informed that the DSC currently offers disaster risk courses to students studying geography and nursing. She also informed that a significant point of discussion at the forum was the concept of having the students volunteer their services in risk management without obtaining credits.
I think we, as educational institutions, are preparing citizens, not just somebody, not a scholar alone, but people who can contribute meaningfully to their life. And if we were to have a system of volunteerism that the students know, we expect you to give how many hours during, well, we may not have a disaster every day, but maybe something to Red Cross, something to ODM, then they become more rounded. Yes, it wouldn't be a credit, like a 3 credits with a grade point average, but it would contribute to their learning. As you're aware, when students leave college, they have knowledge without experience. They go to the world of work and they say, yes, we need experience, but those things can form part of their portfolio. At the Dominica State College, we're in the process of having what we call co-curricular transcripts. So if we were to institute a disaster aspect as one of the things that students would get, yes, they wouldn't get academic credits, but they would get recognition for their work.
Edwards listed new general courses in disaster risk management and hands-on training sessions as moves the DSC can take in helping to spread awareness on disaster risk management and reduction. Edwards stated that she plans on working closely with the Office of Disaster Management to see these ideas through. She hopes that by the next forum, the institution will be able to report on its progress in that area. The third Regional Forum on Disaster Risk Reduction in Higher Education for Latin America and the Caribbean will take place in 2 years' time in Japan. In 5 days, Dominicans will go to the polls to elect men and women to serve the nation for the next 5 years. Every citizen of the Commonwealth of Dominica 18 years and over should exercise their right to vote. GIS is bringing you information on where to vote in all 21 constituencies. So far, we have covered 15. Last time, we gave you information on where to vote in the Roseau South, Roseau Valley, and Petite Savannah constituencies. We continue with these next 3 constituencies. The Salisbury constituency. This constituency comprises Coolibistry, Monrachet, and Salisbury. Persons registered to vote in the Coolibistry area will cast their ballots at the Coolibistry Primary School. Persons living in Monrachet will vote at the Monrachet Resource Center, and persons living in Salisbury will cast their ballots at the Salisbury Primary School. We now move on to the Salibert constituency. This constituency comprises Atkinson, Bataka, Crayfish River, Salibert, and Sineku. Residents of Atkinson and Trizzle with last names A to J will cast their ballots at the House of Hilford John, and those with last names K to Z at the Atkinson Resource Center. Residents of Bataka will cast their ballots at the Bataka Church of Nazarene, and registered voters in the Crayfish River Point area will vote at the Carib Council office in Salibert. Voters residing in Salibert will cast their ballots at the House of Winsome John, and those in Gullet River will vote at the Carib Affairs Office. In St. Cyr, voters will cast their ballots at the Salibert Primary School, while in the Maho River area, voters will cast their ballots at the Sineku Primary School. Those in Sineku will cast their ballots at the Sineku Resource Center. And finally this evening, the St. Joseph constituency. St. Joseph constituency comprises Layu, Mayro, Bells, St. Joseph East, and St. Joseph West. Registered voters living in Layu will vote at the Layu Methodist Hall. Those residing in Mayro will vote at the new house of Marie Brown, and voters in Bells will cast their ballots at the Bells Primary School. Residents of St. Joseph West with last names A to J will vote at the St. Joseph Community Center, while those with last names K to Z will cast their ballots at Matthews Hall. Registered voters in St. Joseph East with the last names A to O will cast their ballots at the St. Joseph Primary School, while those with the last names P to S will vote at the Somerset Sports Club, and lastly, those with the last names T to Z will vote at the House of Washington John Baptist. Next time, we will look at where to vote in these final 3 constituencies, Soufriere, Vacaz, and Wesley constituencies. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole, non moins c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique fait donation ordinateur pour Village Council Campbell. Présentation pour délivrer ces ordinateurs-là prend place pendant une cérémonie jeudi où la parole délivrée par membre parlement Honorable Ribbon Blackmore et ministre Telecoms Honorable Ambrose George. Honorable Ambrose George, c'est ministre et puis responsabilité pour les affaires télécoms.
Nous à Campbell, dans le Resource Center village là, la ministère ministry village council 3 computers pour les résidences en Campbell. Là où nous dit résidence, nous avons parlé de étudiants, nous avons parlé de jeunes, nous avons parlé de collège, nous avons parlé de monde à l'âge, tout le monde, toutes ces résidences là à Campbell. C'est ça que nous faisons, nous avons mené Information Communications Technology dans ces villages-là. C'est tout le monde passe en ville, en Roseau. So, il y a le rural place, là, il n'y a pas de technologie. So, nous avons gardé and avec nous mener computer dans ces villages ça c'est tout le monde ça servi pour l'école pour one service à ligne nous casser ça il y a accès information gouvernement à soi avec ça nous qui fait aussi nous qui servi NTRC c'est le National Telecommunications Commission là qui ni dans une autorité pour manager en fonds nous quoi que ça Universal Service Fund avec fond ça nous il a fait l'argent available pour mener broadband à ces villages là parce que c'est pas tout village à Dominica qui est broadband qui est internet so nous avons servi l'argent ça dans NTRC pour mener broadband là avec technologie so you can servi computer you can internet you can fait tout ça you fait comme village pour accéder à technologie pour empower koyo avec pour certains qui technologie qui a point place ICT aussi qu'a ban service dans Campbell.
En autre nouvelle, Dominican and Support Authority DASPA a informé le public là qui met en place qu'a concerné opération basse avion Dominique. Selon General Manager Benoit Badwell, on est moun qui nous a fait légitimate qui t'a pris permission pour entrer. Badwell fait parole qui c'est wek ça là qu'a tombé en bas convention à Chicago qu'a concerné loi Dominique. Badwell fait parole qui c'est wek ça là en place pour sécurité passagère, travailleurs, public là en général et puis faciliter basse avion là même. Tout le monde qui a fait business pour entrer basse avion là, si besoin ni identité et puis raison pour qui you can entrer basse avion là. En autre nouvelle, bureau gender qu'a créé pour respect pour yon et l'autre spécialement en temps élection. Parole celle-là sorti au directeur bureau là Rosie Brown.
Moun salani sa ka support l'autre la ka support sa parti ça la ka support parti ou l'autre la ka support parti ou et j'ai candidat kay avant l'église et tout partout ka jini miss moun pa ka d'accord vendre l'autre mon ka ki a c'est moun aussi pour les comme ça nous ni pour respecter chaque moun yo ka support chaque moun ni parti yo ka support mais ça pas une raison pour nous ça taper qu'on nous engage un problème et en violence. So, while je parle pour dire on nous stop toutes sortes de qualités de violence, on nous stop violence against femmes et négation, on nous stop gender violence against on est l'autre, norm against norm, because autant les ou ka toujours tan on goumé ça la cache toute la ça la stable là. Ça pas nécessaire dans une société comme nous. So moi qui pour changer ça et bien même si moun pas d'accord en les moun pas ça d'accord les tout bitin ou ni opinion moi même ni opinion moi hein so opinion qui pas toi ni opinion so nous ni pour stop débat ça là parmi nous.
Et puis finalement le département de Dominique a one record maladie là en Dominique. Parole celle-là sorti au chef département North Julie Frampton. Selon North Frampton, au bout de l'année passée, 400 avec 10 cas étaient confirmés en Dominique. Et puis ça a été fait depuis 1987. North Frampton dit tous les années, il y a encore 12 pour 15 cas 9 en PA. Quand même, il dit en temps qui passe, il y a pas encore record plein de monde, raison pour qui il y a continuer à éduquer le public là, danger, maladie là. North Frampton qui a ces moun pour une responsabilité pour manière sexuelle à eux. Ministre santé l'année salam a dressé un plan stratégique pour gommer au compte maladie sida. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole. Pour à présent, non moins c'est McPherson, c'est Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up, more money-saving tips for Christmas.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water. But getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
Christmas should be a time for family and friends. But if yours are a long way away, save on the phone costs with free alternatives and talk for free anywhere in the world over the internet. Most smartphones also let you download apps to do this via Wi-Fi, 3G or 4G. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Colette Ambo. Thanks for watching.